tarde a todos, muito obrigada pela presença. É um prazer estarmos aqui novamente, todas as sextas-feiras, às 17 horas. O Piano e Suas Perspectivas é um programa da Escola de Música e Artes Cênicas, Reitoria Digital da Universidade Federal de Goiás, juntamente com a Pró-Reitoria de Extensão e Cultura, a Mississippi State Universrity e a Universidade del Atlántico, com apoio da Fundação para a Ciência e Tecnologia de Portugal, Centro de Estudos de Sociologia e Estética Musical da Universidade Nova de Lisboa, Centro de Estudos Brasileiros, Rádio Universitária e Rádio Brasil Central FM. Fazem parte da equipe do programa Além de Mim, Paulo Lisboa, Rosângela Yasbeck Seba, Wesley de Menezes e Amira Rodrigues Nunes. Nossa proposta é levar a todos os interessados assuntos relacionados à importância da arte e seu papel na sociedade. A entrevistadora de hoje será a doutora Rosângela Seba, chefe do Departamento de Piano da Escola de Música da Mississippi State Universrity. Toda a entrevista hoje será em inglês. The Piano and Its Perspectives. It's a program of the School of Music and Performing Arts, Digital Department of the Federal University of Goiás, Universidade del Atlántico, and the Mississippi State University, with support from the Foundation for Science and Technology of Portugal, Center for Studies in Sociology and Musical Aesthetics of the University of Lisbon, Center for Brazilian Studies, Radio Universitária, and Radio Brasil Central FM. Besides me, Pablo Lisboa, Rosângela Yasbeck Seba, Wesley de Menezes, e Amira Rodrigues Nunes. Our proposal is to bring to all those interested issues related to the importance of music and its role in society. We have today an impressive pianist, Dr. Oliver Salonga. He is praised by critics worldwide for his interpretation and technical mastery. He played in many concert halls around the world. Salonga has collaborated with conductors Albert Georg Schram, George Ellis, Arturo Molina, and Ruggiero Barbieri, as well as participating in music festivals in Germany, Italy, the Philippines, Korea, and China. Salonga won the gold medal in the 2008 Jeonju International Piano Competition in South Korea and the Zellen Piano Award at the Cleveland Institute of Music. Oliver received his Artist Diploma and Masters in Piano Performance and the Cleveland Institute and his Doctor in Piano Performance with a concentration in theory and analysis, arts management, and collaborative arts at the University of Southern California. Sejam muito bem-vindos. Welcome, Dr. Rose and Dr. Oliver Salonga. Thank you very much.
Gracias, obrigada. Thank you very much. How are you, Dr. Salonga? Thank you so much for having to have accepted my invitation for this interview. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. It's 4 a.m. here in Shanghai, but it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for waking up at 2 a.m. and being ready at 4 a.m. We really appreciate you. So Andrea gave an overview of your life as a professional musician with the degrees and what you have won competitions. But I would like to talk about how everything started. How was the first time that you became interested in learning music or learning piano?
Okay, so my parents are both non-musicians, and my mom, when she was young, she always wanted to learn piano, but her parents refused. So when my sister and I, she decided to actually made us learn piano. And at first, I was just following my sister, and then sooner or later, I started learning piano. And then the teacher was like, "Oh, your son is very talented, and I think you should go for a more serious teacher." And knowing my mom, even if she was not a musician, she would actually use all her resources, do research on finding the best teachers in Manila when I was young. And that was the time I actually encountered my very first formal teacher. Her name is Professor Carmencita Arambolo. And with her, I stayed with her for I guess like 6 years before high school. And then I won the national competition. And then I got admitted to the high school for the arts. And then until I finished in the high school for the arts, and I was studying with her. And together with that, my mom will bring me to all the international art pianists visiting Manila, performing in Manila. So she will make sure that she signs up for all these master classes, and then she will bring me so I can get some pointers from all these international artists. And yeah, and I was actually I would say that I was actually a really obedient boy back then. I was really like, I follow everything she says. And at first I was following her. And then when I got to the high school for the arts, that was the time I started initiating more of from myself rather than relying on just following her. And that's where I realized that I do love music, and that's something that I can do for the rest of my life.
So can you explain a little bit more? Because here in the United States, we do have high schools for the performing arts, but in Brazil, we don't. We still in Brazil, the education is you go to school, and rarely you're going to find music in schools as well. So you go to school, after school, then you go to conservatory. And the conservatories or school of musics are, some of the school of musics are private, some of the conservatories are not private, so it's funded by the federal or state government. But you have to pretty much be lucky because the waiting list is quite big. But can you explain what the performing arts schools are and the schedules, how that helps you to focus on the arts?
Okay, so I'm not sure about how other arts high schools in other Asian countries are, but in the Philippine High School for the Arts, where I studied for 4 years, so they designed the curriculum. So we have 6 different fields, creative writing, theater arts, visual arts, ballet, folk dance, and music, classical music. So they hold a nationwide search, audition, and then they select the top 40 auditionees for that year. And so all these 40 successful applicants will be pretty much stay for 4 years up in the mountains and just be isolated and focus on arts. So the way they design the curriculum, so in the morning you do your general education classes, English, math, science. So it starts like from 7 a.m. till 1 p.m. And then there's like a break, like you do your lunch. And then from 2 to 6, that's the time where you do your art classes, depending on your major. So my major was music. So depending on the day, sometimes on Monday we have chorus classes, and then the remainder will be for practicing. Tuesday would be for theory, and then the remainder would be for practicing. Wednesday would be for history, and then the remainder of the time would be for practicing. Thursday is very interesting because other than our major, we need to have we need to take an elective outside our major. So I usually take theater as my elective. So I was taking a basic acting elective classes. And then if I have time, then I also practice. On Friday, that's our after the general education classes, they take us down back to the city to meet our professors. And that's where we do our classes, depending on our teachers' schedules. I mean, usually I just go directly on Fridays, and then I have Saturday and Sunday open. And then on Sunday, I go up again in the mountains to attend my classes.
So it's a boarding school in a way, right?
It's a boarding school, yes. And I'm not sure. Like there are some in China, like here in China, the major conservatories, let's say like Shanghai Conservatory, Central Conservatory, they also have like a middle school, affiliated middle school before conservatory. So so where the students have music classes and general education classes, but in terms of actually boarding inside the school, that is the part that I'm not so sure about.
So this is basically fostering what you already have, which is the talent, but at the same time emerging the student into the talent that she has. Am I correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Are those schools private? Are they funded by the government? How is the funding for those schools done?
Yes, definitely. The Philippine High School for the Arts is funded by the government, and I'm also aware that the middle school affiliated to the conservatories here also government funded. Yeah.
So is that why only 40 students can come in? Because 40 graduate, 40 come in, 40 graduate, 40 come in. So it's usually whenever they graduate, another wave comes in.
Well, sometimes sometimes they can admit 50 students, depending on the level, I guess, as well. I mean, sometimes they accept less. Sometimes they only accept like 30. But during my year, they accepted 40, 44. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
So did you feel prepared? And again, this is something that comes from the question, because I'm always very impressed with the ability and discipline of the Asian students that I have, and how they are so attentive to whatever we give to them. It's like we are this precious person that has this knowledge, and everything is so cherished. So do you think that the boarding schools and the performing arts schools kind of collaborate for this discipline and respect for the teachers?
I wouldn't say that the boarding school system helped in cultivating this respect for the teacher, for the art. I think it's just part of the culture where like if I'm not sure if you've heard the word like tiger moms or tiger parents.
Yes.
So some Asian parents can be really, really tough, and it's part of our culture to respect. Of course, you learn respect at the beginning, right? You learn respect through fear, and then gradually you start actually learning the true essence of respect, and you try to apply it to someone older than you, and of course, if it's a teacher or a professor, then for sure it's naturally for us to show this respect and uh, and to pay attention in every word our teachers say.
Appreciation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciation.
appreciation.
Yeah. So, how did you become a teacher? Because you have a very strong performance career. And I know now that after we talked that you are very busy teaching as well. So, how
Mhm.
did you become a teacher? How did that come?
Okay. I never thought I would be a teacher at the beginning. Um, when I was, because for me, I'm just gonna share my personal um, journey. I practiced. I'm practicing the piano to become a performer. That it was my, you know, um, I did concerts. Did a lot of concerts. I joined a lot of competitions. Um, and I was finishing my artist diploma, and I was like, so what is your next um, s-
Step.
what is step? And and there's no way to go but to either take your doctoral or or do something else. And I said, like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do my doctoral. And during the course of my doctoral, I also came into realization that it can open more um, avenues, or for me, like open different paths for me. Like, I don't necessarily have to be a performer, like just a performer, because I started asking myself, is this the life that you want? I mean, I think every musician or young musician should ask this question: is this the life you want? Is this, if you can practice like 8 hours a day, play concerts, travel, play concerts, is this? And then when I couldn't answer yes to that question, I I that's the time I decided to do my doctorate and focused more on academic um, writing and all, and on my thesis and my scholarly um, um, yeah, writing and stuff.
Mhm. And so, after your doctoral degree, you were invited to teach. And
Exactly. Yes. So I was informed of by a friend that's already in Suzhou in China that there is a position open. So and that was the time I was finishing, and China is very close to the Philippines, and that's an ideal situation for me because I can just travel back and forth in China and Philippines if ever I need to. And so I flew from Los Angeles after I graduated, went straight to Shanghai, then auditioned for applied for the job. So I actually underwent a process of playing a recital and doing a teaching, um, live teaching demonstration. And there are like the faculty during the time were observing and watching your classes and how you do it. And yeah, and I got it.
good. Well, and then because here in America, what they do is they select a group of faculty. It's not all the faculty in the department, it's a group of faculty, what we call the committee, search committee. We're searching a person. So it's called the search committee. And then we have we open nationally, internationally, and then we receive applicants. So the charge is to look for somebody that is the best of that search. So we narrow down, and usually we just invite between 3 to 5 mostly 3 faculty for the interview. And the interview will also be a concert, a master class, a class if it is a secondary area. But mainly the CV, the curriculum would be the curriculum vitae would be the one that will select you and your experience as well. So is that the same process in China, or was that all the faculty in the conservatory that the university that selected you?
Yes, it's practically like, okay, it starts with the material round. So you submit your CV, yeah, practically the same as you submit the CV, they screen your CV, and then you also need to submit your videos, sample of your performances and your teaching. And then if they like you, then they invite you to go to the physical location to do a solo concert and teaching demonstration. And during the time, I think when I came to Suzhou, there were like 2 people. So I think it was already like they already narrowed it down. So there's like 3 people. So me and then 2 other pianists, and then and the same. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not the search committee. It's like I think the whole piano faculty was there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So how I wish, like it's like not all pianists, but in this case it was all piano faculty. So at first it was like kind of nerve-wracking, and then yeah, and then after that they interviewed me for with this one other person. So I guess they finally chose me.
And you were also invited to teach in Bulgaria and the Philippines, and COVID kind of tempered that a little bit, but you're still teaching there. Can you tell me what are the universities or places in Bulgaria and the Philippines that you are teaching as well?
Okay, so in Bulgaria, I'm teaching at the Piano Conservatory at European Academy of Fine Arts. It's situated in the capital, in Sofia. And we also have other campuses in Ireland. And all the pianists, all the piano faculty in the Piano Conservatory are, due to the pandemic, are not situated in Bulgaria. So we actually teach our students in online setting, and in the same with the University of Santo Tomas in Manila in the Philippines. So I'm in the graduate school level. I'm teaching in the graduate school level. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, as we were talking before, I think the COVID had the goods and bads. And I think one of the things is it brought us closer. I don't think I would ever know you if we hadn't posted stuff, in the internet and getting to know each other. Well, I have some other questions, if it's okay with you. So you have posted some of the videos of your teaching students, and you mentioned too that you're an advocate for the Russian technique. Now, I know what a Russian technique is. I'm a pianist, but we have other people here that are musicians or non-musicians that they do not understand the difference between those different techniques when you perform. Explain that a little bit more for us.
Okay, let me phrase it. It's not Russian school of piano playing. I don't think that there's such thing, because Russian school of piano playing came from the Western European tradition, just like other European countries like Germany, France, Italy. Everything came from that tradition. And I would say that it's Russian school of piano training
Mm-hmm.
And this, and I guess that's the training is what that's the main reason why I became advocate of it, because it's a kind of training where music is implanted, um, I mean, deeply into your system, into your somehow, like where everything, and and it's just so amazing how I was watching this video documentary of how they train Russian this little kids in Moscow, and and like all this training, it starts from very young age where they cultivate the ears. They start with ear training, lots of solfege, so it already like develops a very high level of intervallic sensitivity, and tonal memory, and at the same time they allow their students to attend to attend classes outside music. They want to expose their students into different art forms, so at a very young age, so they're not limited to just learning their instrument. They're actually also learning to see how different art forms are correlated in such a young age, that it becomes part of who they are, and it enriches their artistic personality.
Mm-hmm.
And the piano training is, of course, like it's something, the system, I guess it's the system of how you teach how to form the hands correctly, how you make sure, because I strongly think that a success of a pianist is happens from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
If the actual muscularity of, is that a word, muscularity of the hands is formed to be a pianist, like you have to develop independence of the fingers, you have to develop like intensity of fingertips and how to use arm weight. Everything of this is starts in a very young age, that so all of this different aspects of seeing different art forms, building the correct musculature, that's the word, and then and all the other and molding their ears, shaping their ears in the highest level, like if by molding these three things and aligning them, I think this is what makes this system, this training, one of a kind. Yeah,
Well, it is about building a musician, not just a piano player, but a musician in general. Yeah. We have some of your videos, and I would like for us to talk about. Yeah. So we have this is the list, and can you, before she hits play, can you explain where this was and the work as well?
Okay. So I guess this was this happened at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. I was invited to be a part of the Filipino Artist Series. So they invite all Filipino artists internationally to come home and do concerts. So so this is some excerpt. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was the promotional video of the Liszt Rhapsody Espagnol. I think it's not. I think it's not the whole thing. I think it's a fragment of it. Oh my gosh.
have to stop, unfortunately. But yeah, it's one of those brilliant works that Liszt composed, and it starts with a cadenza. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's a really, after when you're listening to your own playing, it's like kind of like you get so critical, and you're like, oh my gosh.
I usually wait a little bit, and then I listen. If I listen right away, I hate every minute.
I know. Yeah, but until now, like, I mean, I haven't played it in like 2 years, but I was like, oh my gosh.
No, it was beautifully done. I'm really glad that you have done that. And to talk more about this work, really, he was really in a tour in Spain and Portugal when he wrote that. So it's really an influence. It's not really a paraphrase or anything like that. So
yeah, exactly. Yes.
So how did you choose this, and why did you choose this to learn?
Question. Okay. Why did I choose this?
Yeah, did you have to perform somewhere, and then you needed to perform a list? And
actually, yes, because I really like to design my programs. I have to make sure that my programming is, like sometimes the success of your performance depends on your programming, and
yes.
And I was looking for something after, let's say, playing Schumann Fantasy Stücke, Opus 12. So I'm looking for something that to pair that with, that because Schumann demonstrates a different kind of pianism, and I was looking for something different, and I was thinking, based on my seeing how other people program their concerts or their competition rounds, usually they pair Schumann with Liszt, regardless what Schumann it may be. It can be like Chrysleriana, it can be Humoresque or Fantasy Stücke. It's usually they paired with Liszt. And so I was, or something impressionistic, I was thinking of pairing it with Laval's, but I was like, okay, I played it like last concert, so maybe I should learn something new. and then I started like listening to Liszt's shorter works, and of course I've been I've heard so many pianists play this piece, and I wasn't thinking about it at the beginning. I was thinking of Liszt Ballade Number 2, and then I was, that's like another long and another kind of like lyrical and stuff, and full of broken octaves. So maybe not. Let's try to find something with a little bit more different flavor, So that's how I arrived to decision of choosing Spanish Rhapsody, because it's romantic, it's virtuosic, and has this Spanish flavor and style into it, So it's completely different from, let's say, Schumann Fantasy Stücke.
Yeah. Well, we also have another recording of yours, which is the Barber Sonata.
Oh my God.
Humongous Barber Sonata. But we're going to hear the fourth movement, right? The fugue, I think, which is a huge work. And it's amazing that, it's almost 100 years after that the Liszt was composed. So Liszt was 1840 something. And the Barber was composed in 1946 or 45, 46. Yeah. Yes. And Vladimir Horowitz was the first one to perform this. So here's the fugue, fourth movement of the sonata. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have to interrupt. I would love to hear the whole thing, and I will hear the whole thing. It's beautifully done, and it's beautifully performed as well. It is really, really a hard work, isn't it?
Yes, it get under pressure. It gets even harder. So,
Did you play the whole sonata in this concert?
yes, yes.
Oh. It's what,
But
30, 35 minutes? How long is it?
22
22 minutes? Okay. It's a heck of a work. Yeah.
Yes, but I love it because it's like the second movement is like a bitonal scherzo, and then the third movement is like it's like a really slow passacaglia.
Yeah.
And then fugue. So it's basically a neoclassical work, but with a romantic flavor and 20th century language. So like you get like this. Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the Brazilian composer that I love playing, which is Camargo Guarnieri. He wrote a sonata, only one sonata for piano, and has also a fugue at the end.
Interesting. I have to explore this. Wow.
Yeah. So he does 3 movements, and he does a recitative, and then a fugue, and then a recitative, and the last movement. But it's also based on a major seventh. So.
Wow.
A monothematic fugue in major 7. So anyway, I think we can talk about music all the way through, and it's been such a pleasure to getting to know your work and getting to know your playing. You are such a successful teacher, and you are such a successful performer as well. But I want you to take the last minutes to give an advice to a young musician. Somebody, by the way, before we do that, I know that you are releasing a CD, right, in a Spanish label. Can you tell us more about this label, the CD?
Yes. So I'll be releasing my debut album under KNS Classical in Spain. It's called Russian Pictures, and I'll be playing in that CD. I recorded Rachmaninoff Etude Tableau, Study Pictures Opus 33, the complete Etude Tableau, and followed by Mussorgsky's Pictures as an exhibition.
And when? So it's going to be released in December. And where can we find the CD to buy? Is this through their CD label website or anywhere?
If you want the actual physical CD, then you have to, I think, order it in the actual website. But you can. I'm also aware that they will be releasing it in different social media. Not social media,
Spotify?
like different platforms. Yeah,
like Spotify and
iTunes, Amazon. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, and to close, can you give us some advice for the young musician, please?
Okay. I always tell my students when they start comparing themselves to other people, so I always tell them, never ever compare yourself or your journey to other people's journeys. You have each musician or each pianist has their own road to take. Sometimes you compare, oh, how come she's only like 14 and she's already playing Fifole?
Mhm.
And I'm 14 and playing this. Yeah, she might be ahead of you now, but that's her road. You have your own road. Focus on your road and focus on strengthening your qualities as a pianist, as a musician, and strengthening also your personality, because as we all know, music is a very hard business to get into, and music is not for the weak.
Mhm.
So you have to strengthen even more so your personality and your will, and to develop fortitude and mental strength, to withstand failures. It's not just about winning or getting something. Sometimes it's more failures than actual success. And I'm saying that get used to failures and use those failures to make yourself a better musician and a better pianist. And I always also tell my students to strengthen your convictions as a performer, and because it will push through all these external factors that is not necessarily important in making beautiful music. If you stay true to who you are, to your musical convictions and to the music, and to serve the music and nothing else. It's sometimes I have students like, I was like, I'm telling them, calm down, it's not about you. It's never about us. Do you honestly think like 5 minutes before I enter the stage, I think like, oh my God, they're gonna listen to me. Oh wow, no. I'm focusing on how to deliver such great music, and I'm only a medium to deliver this music. And I'm also, and I want to instill this virtue to all young musicians out there, to focus on to serve the music,
Hmm.
and everything will fall in its place. Mhm.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you for saying this because
Uh,
we are human beings and we make mistakes all the time.
yes.
So I appreciate so much, Oliver, for being here with us.
Thank you so much. It's been a
Appreciate
pleasure.
you getting up so early and interrupting your sleep and delivering such beautiful music and such beautiful message. Thank you. Please continue your pattern, your path in life. because you're making a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Professor Saba and Professor Teixeira.
Thank you, Dr. Salonga, and I'll leave you with Andrea right now.
Thank you very much. What a fantastic interview, Dr. Salonga and Dr. Seba. Thank you very much. What a pleasure to listen everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Muito obrigada a todos vocês pela audiência. Esse é um programa da Escola de Música e Artes Cênicas, com a Pró-Reitoria de Extensão e Cultura da Universidade Federal de Goiás e a Reitoria Digital. Temos também a Mississippi State Universrity e a Universidade del Atlántico, com apoio da Fundação para a Ciência e Tecnologia de Portugal, Centro de Estudos de Sociologia e Estética Musical da Universidade Nova de Lisboa, Centro de Estudos Brasileiros, Rádio Universitária e Rádio Brasil Central FM. Fazem parte do programa, além de mim, Pablo Lisboa, Rosângela Seba, Yamira Nunes e Wesley de Menezes. Muito obrigada a todos vocês pela audiência. The Piano and Its Perspectives is a program of the School of Music and Performing Arts, Digital Department of the Federal University of Goiás, Universidade del Atlántico na Colombia, and the Mississippi State University, United States, with support from the Foundation for Science and Technology of Portugal, Center for Studies in Sociology and Musical Aesthetics of the University of Lisbon, Center for Brazilian Studies, Radio Universitária, and Radio Brasil Central FM. Besides me, Pablo Lisboa, Rosângela Seba, Yamira Nunes, and Wesley de Menezes are part of the program's team. Thanks so much to all of you for the audience. See you. And we have a vacation since this program started in June of 2020 because of the pandemic of COVID. We did every week. We didn't have a vacation, so we needed to stop a little bit to think another people, another side of the music also. So I need to thank so much to Dr. Seba, Dr. Yamira Rodrigues Nunes, Federal University of Goiás, and all of you that are with us every week. Thank you very much.